APB recap. It's time. As usual, this will be a recap for the APB stream that I do every week at Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. In the stream, I cover all sorts of topics there, ranging from bad Twitter takes to other bad Twitter takes. This video will cover some of the things that I talk about on stream, and it'll be an advertiser-friendly experience. So if you want a full, raw, uncensored experience, then check out the stream channel, link down below. My brother is also playing some games and doing some designing. You can check it out on the stream channel as well. Also, you might notice a bit of a mess in the chapters, and that's because I'm mixing the small topics with the big ones. So keep that in mind as we get through this nonsense. The federal government is investing in machines that suck giant amounts of carbon dioxide out of the air in hopes of reducing damage from climate change. So, trees. You're talking about trees, right? Wait, how much you're spending again? $3.5 billion? Please tell me that all that money is for planting trees and not for making machines that actually ends up hogging more power and destroying more of the environment. DoorDash regrets the fact that they have provided services that are below your standards. So to compensate the discomfort that you're suffering, they would like to provide you with a very generous compensation of $0. Seems pretty fair to me. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the unveiling of the banned book section, available at your nearest bookstores today, which includes such horrific literatures that have destroyed the minds of humanity and has massively contributed to a decline of the younger generations. I am, of course, referring to the absolutely cursed literature known as Captain Underpants. A horrible tragedy has happened to a 12-year-old child where an Amber Alert that is supposed to save them actually ends up hurting them. AirPods Pro has ruptured a child's eardrums, and that caused a lawsuit to be filed towards Apple. Amber Alerts, in case you're not American, is an alert that's built on your phone in case a child gets missing. They're incredibly annoying by design, and they can rupture your eardrums, even without the AirPods Pro, to be honest. So I recommend you to turn it off if you have very sensitive hearing. There are guides where you can turn them off for both Android and iOS phones. I'll link to them down below for your own safety and convenience. And since we mentioned AirPods and AirPods Pro in this article, don't forget to check out our affiliate links where you can rupture your eardrums with the same AirPods Pro that the child uses for the low price of $330. No, really, at the bottom of the article, there are affiliate links where you can buy the very same things that allegedly destroy a child's eardrums. I don't think it's the writer's intention to advertise affiliate links to the very same products that, according to the article, literally led to the hearing loss of a child. This could be, and most likely is, an honest mistake of an automatic system. In other words, a bot with a very twisted sense of humor. The moral of the story is, Amber Alerts on your phones are annoying and intrusive. There's nothing wrong with turning them off. Oh, and one more thing. You can buy whatever stuff you want at the end of the day, but if you're really budget conscious, don't spend $300 on wireless earbuds when there are others that are significantly cheaper. Wireless earbuds these days can be found for pretty cheap and decent at around $50, like the Anker Soundcore Life, either the P3 or the Dot 2. Both of those give some excellent value for the money. You can also buy headphones that are actually designed for kids, like the JBL JR300BT. That has much lower volumes, definitely safe for them. Alternatively, you can get a cheap wired earphones and then either get yourself a dongle or a Bluetooth audio receiver like this. So you just plug them in and off you go. Just don't give these kids the IEMs like the KZs. These are so loud, they can damage your ears if you're not careful. Cheaper, better, and even safer alternatives exist out there, guys. Save your money, especially in this economy. Boy, the tradcons are on fire today. Once again, they're gonna preach you about why 18+ content is bad and how we need to save society from the dangers of 18+ content. Yeah, well, maybe don't talk about all of that while showing a half mantis, half human mutant trying to get to a naked guy. I mean, hey, some people are into monster girls, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone's into that. Some are even offering specialized help. That's right, guys. 30+ men quit porn in around 30 days or less, presumably from the result of my tight bussy going to town. They're also telling women to not ride horses or bikes or bicycles. Clearly, the OP is insinuating that women should ride him instead. Great pickup line, OP. I wonder how well that worked out for you. It probably works about as well as saying that women are walking sexual machines. She was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean. She was the reason my Twitter got ratioed clean. So this thread starts off by complaints about dolls from Touhou and why Fumos are quite possibly among the worst internet crazes in recent memory and how they're designed to appeal to soy bug gamer, terminally online people, and nobody else. It really does take a terminally online internet craze to know another terminally online internet craze. I mean, oh my god, this thread! Look at this thread length! Holy Raymu! You can block off the entire southern border with that text wall! Speaking of unwise parenting decisions, a Philippines man decides to name his son Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. No, really, this happened. The reason is because the father's favorite anime is, you guessed it, slime isekai. In the plot of Naruto Shippuden, Naruto didn't have a family to grow up with, and the father is a single father who took care of the baby 24/7. Good for you, man. Good for you. And this is where you got lots of comments from people saying that the kid's gonna get bullied. He's gonna get lots of issues in life. The thing is, I'm really not that worried. Why? Because the bullies would have to know what Naruto is in the next decade. Last time I checked, the series has ended and has moved on to another series that is not only inferior in terms of popularity, but also inferior in everything else, actually. So to assume that the future kid bullies would know what Naruto is, it's possible, but the chances are slim in my opinion. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say that Zoomers just don't get exposed to anything that's old at all. Did you know that the kids in my school where I teach can't even tell who this is? No, I'm not even lying. I showed a picture of him in front of everybody in my class, and they can't tell who this is. And another thing, they got this guy and this guy mixed up. They can't even tell who this is. I'm not even kidding. They can't tell who this is. I am also not lying when I say that they don't know who this is. You'd think I'm lying, but I'm not. I deal with Zoomers every day. Trust me, I know. As long as we keep Naruto to be as unpopular as possible, the kid will be safe. Hopefully. Best wishes to him. The name's still stupid though. Apple has a brand new self-driving car that apparently will include VR technologies and no windows! I mean, it is an Apple product. Of course it has no windows. And why does it look like one of those cheap wireless mouses that look like a car? Neil deGrasse Tyson, as always, hates the concept of fun. Lunar eclipses are so unspectacular that if nobody told you what was happening to the moon, you'd probably not notice at all. Just saying. Sir? This is a Wendy's? What the F is an auntie? I just don't like sibling ships. That's your subjective philosophical point of effing view. These characters are fictional. Just because people are into fictional taboo ships doesn't mean they endorse taboo ships in real life. And
Please, for the love of God, I don't understand what you're saying.
As always, Fox News came in with a classic. The host blames video games for insert tragic events here. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Video games are getting so realistic and violent. That must have been the cause of insert tragic events here. Never mind the fact that there are many statistics that have shown that video game sales are rising at the same time as the decrease of violent crime. But hey, let's not get the facts to inconvenience the right-wing boomers. But aside from Fox News, which is the usual suspect for this entire thing, we also have other members from the other extremes of the political spectrum chiming in their takes on insert tragic event here. Twitch gets the blame because the perpetrator streamed it and therefore the platform is to blame. I mean, why stop at Twitch? We can also blame, oh, I don't know, the mobile phone service provider. Where's the accountability for T-Mobile or Verizon? The biggest target from the left-winger is obviously the gamers. The moment a tragedy happens, the
Alright, everybody, keep your cool!
That word is being spewed left and right in last week like it's 2014 all over again. No one cares about the movement, not even the people who used to be in it. But hey, it doesn't stop people from blaming that for all sorts of bad things happening around the world. Some shooting happens, GG. People die, GG. Monkeypox, GG. And now I sound like I'm complimenting those events. But putting aside the goofy goober part of the conversation, one issue that was raised is how these potential perpetrators find comfort in gamers because the gaming community tolerates or even encourages bigotry. Sorry to say this to you, but We're not the internet hall monitors. We are not going to the internet to police people and how they talk or behave. That's just not fun. And not to mention, useless, because we can't punish these people, and neither can a lot of these game companies. Most people go to the internet to take a break and have fun. If you have fun in monitoring the internet hallways, then feel free to subject yourself to this worthless crusade, because even if you're going around the area being the internet hall monitors, you won't be able to stop these people from being bigots. There's just so much variables that you simply cannot control, and bigots online are one of those. Speaking of bigots, apparently if you play video games at any point and you're white, you're potentially being recruited to white nationalism. They are being targeted and recruited to video game forums, Discord, game chats, YouTube videos, and ads, all of it. Ooh, scary. You better watch out, white parents and white kids. Never mind the fact that people who are not white can also be subjected to bigoted ideologies, but hey, only white people can be bigots. The thread goes on to an advice that I would give to parents in general, which is to talk to your kid about what they're doing when gaming or at school, and actually just their activities in general. Ask questions to him rather than interrogate him. Ask about what games he plays and whether he goes to forums and who he talks to. This isn't really a terrible advice. I'd give this advice too, except as a general parenting guide and teaching kids how to browse the internet safely, not just as a way to avoid bigots online. Still, really good advice, and I would have given that too. But here's the problem, and it's a really big problem. The OP is not doing a really good job at it. The kid says, I'm not racist, but I do think that it's important to maintain Western civilization. Okay, stop. I'm sorry, but you're not talking to a kid. You're talking to your average lurker from Pole. But hey, let's assume that the kid actually says that. I would ask, okay, son, what is this Western civilization that you speak of? And I would let him to answer that and let the conversation go from there. The problem is, the OP doesn't let him answer. The OP asks, why do you think that? What does whatever values he attributes to Western civilization have to do with race? Okay, OP, how about you ask the questions one by one first and let him answer those questions before we proceed. Aren't the values you have things you learn? Don't you think that people that chose to move to the US are doing so in part because they share those values? Don't you think that kids who grow up in the same society you do are learning the same things? Okay, OP, stop. Now you're just interrogating the kid. Forget the fact that these questions are way too complicated for a kid to actually answer. You treat your kid as if he's a 4chan lurker. That's incredibly counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve. That basically sums up a lot of modern political activism, actually. You're not being nice to him at all. You're being confrontational and interrogative by those questions. It's like he hurt your feelings or something. And to be honest, this is exactly what I expect from people who are on this side of the political spectrum. They are incapable of handling the worldviews that are different than them. So instead of trying to refute their arguments or trying to find a common ground between the two, they just resort to all sorts of fallacies. And if that fails, they just block them. Well, your kid disagrees with you. How the hell are you going to block him? I think these people need to understand that just because they have institutional and corporate power against the opposing view doesn't mean that they can convince the people who have the opposing view. The kid then says, I do think girls are kind of bad at video games. Yes. Yes, in general they are. Are there exceptions? Absolutely. But exceptions don't disprove the general trend. The general trend that girls don't play games as much as men. And the ones who do aren't that good at it. Actually, I'll extend that to say that most people in general aren't good at games, regardless of gender. I mean, I'm not very good at games either. But there are definitely more men that are better than women in games, simply because there are more men who play games than women. So I wonder, how are you going to correct this, OP? What about your friend A? What about friend A? Even if friend A is good at video games and she just so happens to be, a girl, the class also has friend B, C, D, E, F, all the way to Z that are also girls that are not good at games. The point has no relevance to the conversation. One exception doesn't disprove the general trend. But hey, please continue, OP. Did you know that the person who invented graphic video games that weren't just text was a woman? Oh, gee, I had no idea. I also have no idea how that information is relevant to this conversation. Just because you developed the game doesn't mean you're good at it. You see Harada-san playing Tekken with esports players, but he's not as good as them. And he's not actually competing against them, as far as I know at least. But point is, he's not as good as them. That's because he probably never shows his true power. Then the kid says, sometimes I feel like the only people it's okay to hate are the white males. Feminists are misandrists. No arguments there. The guy's speaking facts. But hey, let's see how the mother counters this. Did you know that teacher that he likes is a feminist? Implying that the kid has a teacher that he likes and implying that you know that the teacher is a feminist. Same counter-argument as last time, exceptions don't disprove a trend. Did you know that RPG litigated for men to receive social security benefits to help care for kids if their mom died?
I understand nothing of what you just said.
And even if I do understand what you just said, I'm still gonna need Jason for this.
I fail to recognize the correlation.
The kid then says, guns are cool. I think the Second Amendment is important.
Wow, what do you say after that one? Brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely taken down.
Why are you making the kid sound so base? How are you going to respond to this, OP? Let me guess. More irrelevant points. Did you know that guns are way more likely to be used for suicide than self-protection? Well, if the mother of the household is you, OP, then I can totally see why the gun would be used that way. I love how the biggest issue here is the fact that the suicide is by a gun, and not the fact that the suicide was under consideration in the first place. I don't know about you, but finding out why a person is suicidal is a more pressing matter than how a person would commit it. In conclusion, you're not very good at parenting, OP. You're doing the exact opposite of what you told people to do, and you're talking to the kids rather than at them. This is one of the primary reasons why society fails, because parents fail. And that's all that I can offer for this recap. If you want to check out more content in a live and uncensored manner, then check out my stream channel, link down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Leave a like and subscribe. Support me on PayPal, Patreon, wherever you like, however you like. And thanks for watching.